Hey, Indian Creek 8th grade students, it's Professor Blazek, and I'd like to welcome you back for another installment in our Road to a 4 video series looking at your social issues essay. In this video, we're going to be looking at the revision process and how we can make your writing even stronger. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, the first editor of your essay, once you have finished your rough draft, is going to be one of your peers. So what I would like for you to do is share your rough draft with one of your classmates. You can just do this by sharing the Google Doc with them. And once you have received your partner's rough draft, you're going to read through his or her writing 2 different times. Now, once you've got their rough draft open, the first thing that I would like for you to do is near the top right corner of the editing bar in Google Docs, you should see a box that says editing. Go ahead and click on this box and change editing to suggesting. This means that the edits you make are not going to be permanent. They're just going to be suggestions for your writer to consider. This is so that your writer can keep track of what they wrote versus what you would like them to change. So make sure you make this change before you go through and edit any of your partner's rough draft. Now, the first time you read through your partner's rough draft, look for errors in formatting. So, for example, spelling or grammar or punctuation. Make sure to add in any necessary capital letters, especially at the beginning of a sentence or if it's like a person's name, or any other punctuation marks. So commas, periods, quotation marks, question marks, etc. And then also make sure that there are spaces after punctuation marks. You know, there should be a space after the period at the end of a sentence, a space after a comma. These are the most common formatting errors in rough drafts, so make sure to keep these in mind the first time that you read through your partner's rough draft. Now, the second time you read through your partner's rough draft, you're going to be looking at the message behind their writing. So ask yourself if each sentence gives a complete thought. If it doesn't, make a suggestion or a comment to let them know. Ask yourself if their ideas in the essay flow together. Does it feel like every sentence is connected to the one before and the one after it? Does it seem like that there are good transitions between paragraphs? You'll know as you're reading if the ideas in the essay flow or don't. Again, make note of this as a suggestion for your partner to change. Kind of going along with this, look for transitions between ideas. If it feels like that the essay is kind of just jumping between points without giving really any warning, this is a sign of something that your classmate needs to change. Again, something to keep note of. And then remember that part of this essay is discussing the alternative viewpoints from your own. So look at your partner's essay. Do they talk about both sides of the issue they're looking at? If they don't, let them know that they need to make these changes. And then whenever you're reading through your partner's ideas, ask yourself if there are ways that they could be stronger. Is there additional explanation needed? Would there be certain areas where like a statistic would be very helpful? If they explain their ideas fully, that's awesome. But there may be places where they need a little bit more explanation of their ideas. This is something else that you can keep in mind and let them know that they could possibly improve upon. Now, when you're making suggestions about the message, what you need to do is highlight the areas that you're suggesting changes to in the essay. And then instead of typing over the words that are there, because this can get very messy in suggesting for a Google Doc, add your ideas as comments instead. And so there are 3 different ways that you can add comments in a Google Doc. You highlight the text that you want to comment on. First of all, there should be a small button that appears on the right side of the frame that has almost like a little blurb in it. You can click on this to add a comment. You'll also notice that at the top right corner, there is a button that says comments. You can click on this and then an option will come up to add a comment. Or if you look on the left, you can click insert and then comment. So 3 different ways that you can add comments to your partner's rough draft. Now, nobody's rough draft is going to be perfect. So please don't speed through your peer edits or make very few or no suggestions, because your partner is really counting on you to help make their essay better. Okay, peer edits are not meant to hurt feelings, so don't feel like if you're making suggestions that you might hurt your partner's feelings because you're saying that their writing is bad or that they didn't do a good job or whatever the case may be. Peer edits are meant to help everybody grow as a writer and a reader. You are helping your partner, so make sure that you take the time to go through their essay, be thorough, and give them lots of good suggestions. And remember that your classmate is trusting you for good feedback. So you're not really changing their essay unless they decide to follow what you suggest. So whatever ideas you have, add them in. You might think of something that your partner did not when they were writing their essay, and it could be something that'll really help make their essay and their writing stronger. So whatever ideas you have, make sure to add them in. Now, once your peer editor has returned your rough draft, once you've traded your rough drafts back, turn your essay into Google Classroom for teacher edits. So this is the second part of the revision process, and I will go through each of your rough drafts and add any additional edits on top of what your partner has already given you. Then once I have returned your rough draft with all of the suggestions, the final edits are going to come from you. So first, look through my and your classmates' suggestions. And if you like a suggestion, you can go through and select accept in your document, and this will make the suggested change a permanent change. If you feel like you don't need a suggestion, you can choose to reject it. But make sure to be objective in your choices. Now, this means really think about the suggestions and ask yourself if it's going to make your essay better. If you feel like it will, then make those changes. Don't be too tied to what you have already written, because you're sometimes going to struggle with seeing potential errors in your writing, and oftentimes having that other set of eyes who has read through what you've written and made those suggestions can see things that you have missed. So be objective. If you really feel like it's something that you don't need, you can reject the suggestions, but otherwise make sure to take all of the potential changes into something that you're really considering doing. Now, once you've looked over the grammar and spelling suggestions, then read through the comments that were left by myself and your classmate. Just like we said before, you can choose to follow or disregard these ideas. Again, just make sure to be objective and really think about what's going to make your essay as good as it can possibly be. And then based on these suggestions, you can also add in new ideas, new quotes, statistics, whatever you like into your edited draft. And then once you feel as though you are finished, please go through and read your essay one final time. Check all of your spelling and punctuation, because there's a chance that something was missed, especially if you added in new sections. And read through to make sure that all of your ideas are fully explained and flow together, because these are 2 marks of really strong writing. And then make sure that every piece of information you've taken from your sources has been cited. So whether it's a direct quote or a paraphrase, make sure that you have given credit to the source that it came from. Because if you don't, that's technically plagiarism. And we've talked about how you want to avoid that at absolutely all costs. And just keep in mind that we do this final read through because it will help you get an overall sense of the essay instead of looking at it piece by piece, because so much of the writing process has been working on just small pieces of your essay at a time. Going through one final read through of the whole thing will give you a much better picture of the entire essay and make you more aware of just how well the introduction, your body paragraphs, and your conclusion all flow together. So this is a really important step to take. And then once you have finished with the revision, you are done with step 8 in the writing process. But actually, because you've made all these revisions, you are also done with step 9 and you have written your final draft. So as a special bonus, we're not going to have a 9th video. You can go ahead and submit your final draft and your essay packet. Congratulations on all of the hard work you've put into your essay and writing all these steps. Job well done. Let's go get some ice cream. This has been Professor Blazek, and I will see you next time.